forward to this.
What's up everyone, how's it going? So in this video we have an even 10 heroes as well as 10 villains in Star Wars Battlefront 2. So in the next two videos I'm wanting to do a top 10 heroes and then a top 10 villains. The first video being the top 10 heroes, of course. So what's interesting about a lot of heroes in this game is some are great for heroes versus villains, while others are better at Galactic Assault in terms of gameplay. So I'm going to kind of be judging these based off of a mixture of both heroes versus villains as well as Galactic Assault. Now these are just my opinion, so I'd like to hear your guys' top 10 heroes down below, or just top 3 or top 5 or whatever, so you don't have to write out a huge list. So let's get started with my personal number 10, and this is going from worst to best. So the worst hero in Battlefront 2, in my opinion, is going to be Chewbacca. Now, he used to be an absolute beast in Heroes vs. Villains as well as Galactic Assault, but Heroes vs. Villains was definitely his strong point because all you would have to do is throw your shock grenade at the enemy and then just use your Furious Bowcaster ability and just wipe out the team in like 5 seconds. I mean, he was super overpowered. So before the nerf, he would have been like top 3 for me on this list, but they just nerfed him way too much, and he is still okay at Heroes vs. Villains if you're a good player or not, but in Galactic Assault, he is just so weak, especially because his health on kill card is absolutely horrible. I mean, his health on kill card is to get enemy kills using your charge slam ability, which is an ability that leaves you super vulnerable, that at most times you end up losing even more health by using it because you're stuck in this animation running, and then everyone's going to shoot at you, and then you slam on the ground, and then most of the time you don't even kill anyone because it doesn't do that much damage. It should do a lot more damage, but I do believe the hero designer did say that he is looking at updating that and changing some things about that ability. So that's good news. Hopefully that makes him a little bit better. But also you're going to notice I talk about the health on kill card a lot when it comes to these placements. So the hero designer did say they are looking at making health on kill just a passive ability and not have to do with a star card. And also hopefully they make it to where heroes just can get health on kill no matter what ability they use or what weapon they use. It's not specific to an actual ability because it really weakens the hero in my opinion. So that is Chewbacca at number 10. I think all they really need to do is update his damage output on his bowcaster, as well as make kind of like another shot for him where it's just a single fire shot, kind of like what he did when he shot Kylo Ren in The Force Awakens. It wasn't a tri-shot or anything, it was just one blaster bolt, so maybe they can make something like that so that it's a lot more accurate, because right now the accuracy on his bowcaster is super weak and super horrible in my opinion. So I think all they need to do is just update that just a bit, and then he'll be a pretty good hero. So next up on the list is a hero that I haven't used too much because in my opinion he's just not that good, and that is Finn. Now he did come out with The Last Jedi season back in December, and whenever he first got released, from what I heard, he was super overpowered. I believe his gun did a ton of damage as well as his abilities were just super good, but like Chewbacca, they just nerfed him way too much, and now he's just not that good of a hero. The only reason I put him in front of Chewbacca is because his blaster is better in my opinion because it is a lot more accurate and has a much better range. Also, his abilities just aren't that good. The one where he pulls out his pistol and then it kind of buffs everyone, that would be a good ability on paper, but the pistol is super weak as well as he can't run, so it's like, what's the point of doing that, especially in like Galactic Assault? If a whole bunch of enemies come after you, can't run away, you're just walking, and then the pistol isn't too strong. So I think they really need to update his blaster as well as his abilities a little bit. So next up on the list is another blaster hero. Now this was a hard decision between Han Solo and Lando, and I put Han Solo behind Lando. So Han Solo is number 7 on this list, and the main reason I did it is because I believe that Han Solo, while his blaster is very good if you're a good aim, his shoulder charge just isn't really that good of an ability because it's kind of useless except for Heroes vs. Villains. In Galactic Assault, there's no point in using it because it only gets one person, and like Chewbacca's charge slam, it just leaves you super vulnerable and then doesn't even do that much damage. Now the only thing he really has going for him is his detonate charge. That ability works really well, especially on maps like Naboo, like in the third phase where everyone's in that hallway. You can just throw a detonate charge in there and just blow everyone up. That is a very good ability in my opinion. But like I said, if you're really good at aiming a blaster in this game, I think you're going to be a really good Han Solo player. Personally, I'm just not too good with it. I'm a lot better with like snipers and stuff. But that is Han Solo at number 8. So at number 7, we have Lando Calrissian. So the reason he's in front of Han is because of his sharp shot ability where he can lock on to like 5 or 6 people at once and then just shoot them all. It's a really good ability, and I personally think it is better than detonate charge because there's a lot more times where you can use it a lot more effectively. And personally, I just tend to do a lot better with him, especially in Galactic Assault when using that ability. But the problem with him is his blaster just overheats way too quickly, as well as the recoil on it is absolutely insane. So his gun is supposed to be shot really fast, but the problem with it is, like I said, its recoil is just insane, so that you rarely even get shots off onto the enemy. So I do think that DICE needs to look into making the gun just a little bit more accurate, not too much, because like I said, his gun shoots super fast, so it's already pretty good if you're very close to an enemy, but it is not good at all at long range. So that is Lando Calrissian at number 7. So at number 6, finally we have some changes in the list, and this is going to be a lightsaber hero, and at number 6 I have Yoda. Now I know a lot of people think Yoda is their favorite hero. Now he is still a really good hero, but the reason why I have him at the top of the list in terms of lightsaber heroes is because of his health on kill card. It really needs to be updated. And then the other thing is that currently at the moment he does not have a block. Now this is going to be changing sometime soon in the future. I'm guessing the next 2 months or so he will be getting a block. So once Yoda does receive a block, he will be a lot more powerful in my opinion. Now he does have a lot of good things going for him. My favorite part about him is he's just so short that it is so hard to hit him with a blaster. Now he's not the best in Heroes vs Villains because you can just have a bunch of lightsaber villains going after you, but in Galactic Assault pretty much everyone's using a blaster and it's just so hard to hit him, especially because his dash length is so long. I mean, he can dash so far out that he's able to escape enemies very quickly. So those are like the only 2 things going for him. In terms of his lightsaber, his range for his lightsaber lunge is not long at all and really needs improvement, as well as his jump height needs to be scaled up a little bit more. But other than that, I think Yoda is a pretty good hero, but just for my playstyle, he is at the top of the list in terms of lightsaber heroes, just because of those aspects, but he's still pretty good if you know how to use him. My favorite part about him is his Unleashed ability, where he can charge up his force push as he collects blaster shots and then just launches it out of them. Right now, everyone kind of knows how to counter it, so it's not the best, but when it does work, it is really fun to use. So that is Yoda at number 6. So at number 5, we are going back to the blaster heroes, and for number 5, I have Leia Organa. Now, she is not the greatest in Heroes vs Villains. Many can argue that she's actually the worst hero for that game mode, but in Galactic Assault she is an absolute beast. So the problem with her in Heroes vs Villains is her base weapon is just not that good, and then her secondary fire just isn't really useful, except for maps like Starkiller Base where it's real wide open, but most of the maps are kind of closed in, so you're not able to use it that much and be able to actually use it effectively. But when it comes to Galactic Assault, a lot of maps, especially like Kashyyyk and then Geonosis and then other kind of real wide open maps, you can get like so many kills with it without dying, because what a lot of people do is they'll sit back in the very back of the map and just use her secondary fire, and it auto locks onto people at such far distances, and then it basically insta kills them, and there's like nothing they can do about it. It is pretty overpowered in my opinion. I do think they need to nerf it, but I do think that she is the best blaster hero just because of this aspect. The secondary fire works really well, especially on Geonosis, because in the second phase there's this kind of hill that you can go up if you're on the Clone Wars side, and if you stand up there as Leia and just kind of shoot down, you'll get hundreds of kills with it if you're able to stay alive with her for the whole match. So yeah, I do think her secondary fire does need a little bit of nerf, but I think they can do both a nerf and a buff. So what I think they should do is nerf her secondary fire, but then buff her normal blaster a lot, as well as her E11 blaster for her ability. So if they do those things to her, I believe she'll be a really good and balanced character. So at number 4, we're going back to lightsaber heroes, and at number 4, I have ObiWan. Now, he is probably the lightsaber hero that I am worse with, but the reason he is in front of Yoda in terms of lightsaber heroes is because I've seen really good ObiWan players get on huge kill streaks with him. So it's not that he's a bad lightsaber hero, just personally I'm not that very good with him because he is a very defensive character, and my playstyle just does not match with him. So I think they do need to increase the speed of his animations for lightsaber swings as well as his lunge range, because they're trying to make him a real defensive hero, which they did really well on that, but the problem with this is they didn't balance it out from being defensive as well as offensive, so that his lightsaber swings just aren't that good. So I think they need to upgrade those just a little bit, and then he'll be a pretty good top-notch hero. So at number 6, I have Rey. Now I do believe that she is the quickest lightsaber hero. She outruns everyone on the light side, as well as her lunge is super far out, and then she also has the quickest lightsaber swing animation. So all three of those put together makes her a super good offensive character. She's not the best at defense. The only thing going for her with defense is her block. It does last quite a while, but other than that, she doesn't really have much going for her when it comes to defending herself and her teammates. But I do think that Rey is a perfectly balanced character in this game because she's not overpowered, but she's not underpowered at all either. So I think she's a very well-made character for this game. And at number 2, I have Luke Skywalker. Now, the reason I put him in front of Rey is because while he is a bit slower than Rey, as well as his attack swings and his lunge distance is a little bit lower, he does have a really good force push when it does work. He has one where he just does a force push, then he has another one where he slams people on the ground. So I think those two abilities really make him a good character, as well as he has a dash ability where he just kind of flies forward, so it's really easy to escape from enemies. So finally at number 1, this is going to be no surprise to anyone, we have of course Anakin Skywalker. Now, I don't really need to say anything about him because everyone knows how overpowered he is at the moment. The devs did say that they are looking at nerfing him once again. I mean, I believe he's been nerfed like twice already, so hopefully they actually make him pretty balanced this time. I mean, he's got 4 abilities and all of them are extremely powerful. And something that's really crazy about him is he's got the speed of Rey, also the lunge range of Rey, and then the attack damage of General Grievous. So all those things put together make him an extremely overpowered character. So I do think they really need to nerf him quite a lot, because while it is kind of fun at first, like the first week it was pretty fun using him as he's super overpowered, but after a while it just kind of gets annoying, especially when you're going up against him, because at this point there's really nothing you can do to counter him. The only best counter I've noticed for him is General Grievous or Kylo Ren, because they have ways to stop him from using his abilities. Like General Grievous can run him over and then knock him down, and then General Grievous's damage is just so high so that he can kill him in like 4 or 5 hits. Also, if you use Thrust Surge and then the crawling ability, it's a really good way to take him down. And then for Kylo Ren, he basically has his Force Pull, which is really good to knock him to the ground, and then his Force Freeze. So what I like to do is freeze Anakin and let all my other teammates shoot him, because if you freeze an enemy and then someone hits them with a lightsaber, they automatically get out of that frozen state so that they can attack again. But if they're frozen and then people just shoot them with blasters, for whatever reason, that doesn't snap them out of the ability. So what I like to do is just freeze him and then let blaster teammates shoot him until he dies. Though he does have the same amount of health as Vader, so killing him takes a lot of effort. But that is my 10 villains ranked. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought about my list, as well as comment down below what your top 10 or top 5 or whatever list of heroes are. I'd like to hear what heroes you're best with. Hopefully I will do my top 10 heroes list soon, so that might come out sometime this week. But again, I hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts about it. If you did enjoy, be sure and leave a like on the video, and if you are new, subscribe for more Star Wars news, gameplay, and more, and I will hopefully see you all in the next one.